Oh, man. They got this camera on me. My fans now had no idea that I was a fighter. And I'm Mike Tyson.
There he goes! I don't think you'll get up from this!
They just knew me from the guy in the Hangover movie. Hi. My story is my life with this man, Cus D'Amato.
Guy comes to me with a spark. Then I feed the fire until it becomes a roaring blaze.
And it's all because of Cus. I feel difficult to even talk about.
I'm innocent. I'm walking a thin line through hell.
You don't know and you don't care. There's no victims, there's just volunteers. I volunteered to get.
Mike Tyson was convicted by a jury on 1 count of rape.
It was bull. I got convicted. And I'm the mother that went to prison over bull lies.
Don King will continue to promote my fight.
I up, okay?
Don is the greatest promoter in the world, as we know.
I up by still getting involved with Don King. Is that what you want to hear me say? Things got creepy. I had crazy marriage problems, and I just had my head up my ass for a couple of years, and I don't know what the hell happened. Your love is tricky.
I love you.
A lot of people exchange love for insanity. You guys have no concept on people's feelings, on people's heart. People have memories, people are pain.
I wanted to beat him bad. I wanted to dominate him.
I talked about this rape stuff. I talked about Don King me over. What else you want me to talk about? Just say the issue. You should make a story about Mike Tyson being. This documentary is called. But I'm not no pussy. Don't ever think that.
You can't last 2 minutes in my world, bitch.
Don't ever think that. I'm just saying it now. Don't ever think that. You get up? Thank you. Fighting was my life. Regardless of how I was living my life, fighting was my life. Fighting. There's something about fighting. We do it more than we have sex. Listen, you could be in a building, there's 2 people fighting downstairs, you want to look who they're fighting, who's there. No matter if it's a Fortune 500 building, there's 2 people fighting. There could be 2 lawyers fighting in the lobby. Everybody wants to see a fight, and that's just human nature, I guess. Fighting. I don't know, it's really weird. How do you go from hurting people your whole life to saying, hey guys, I'm normal? I know people come up and say, hey champ, you knocked this guy out, I remember this fight and this fight, but that don't mean nothing to me anymore.
I love you.
I love you too, fucker. I used to love watching my daughter play tennis and being involved in my children's life.
Prison. Back it up, up it. Nice. Back it up, up. Good. Good ball there.
That was good, Milan. That's really what it's all about now. I never dreamed I'd be doing this. A couple of years after I retired from boxing, I thought I'd be doing this, being a tennis parent. My desire was to be champion. Now, my desire is to take care of my kids and develop even more of a relationship with my wife.
How's your ankle feel?
Never was good at it at any time of my life, and I'm pretty new at it now, but it's pretty awesome.
Grip that forehand. Good girl.
Hey, what makes
20 push-ups for backhand slice. 10 for backhand, 20 for slice.
Love.
She said that's a different
Shows you like it, mother likes it, it does anything to please the parents.
Yeah.
I say to myself, they're not like me.
Up, backing it up.
They never went through hard times. They don't know what it's like to have your dreams snatched from you and you have to remake them again. She's just learning her strategy. She just lost in the finals yesterday or last night in this tournament. Even if she loses a game, she's gonna come home to a big pool and a nice house and all that stuff. I'm so proud of you. I keep racking up. And I'm not saying that she's never gonna be successful. I'm just saying sometimes to be able to see the light, you have to come from the dark side.
The courage undisputed, undefeated heavyweight champion of the world, Mike Tyson.
I come from a place called Brownsville, Brooklyn. Crime infested, drug infested.
Poverty was really everything in the world down there. Everybody was hungry all the time. And when you weren't hungry, you were just like, where you want to get your next meal anyway? Lights are turned off, gas is turned off.
It's really a hellhole to live in. It's dog-eat-store kind of environment.
His mother, you know, was doing her own thing, and the father, you know, you didn't really know who he was, and same thing like, you know, most of the families in Brownsville.
Very difficult to get out of. You know, you're stuck in that very dark cycle of hate. And that's where I'm from. I was just a naive kid. I'm the youngest of 3 kids. We didn't have a father, male figure. Les was a boyfriend figure. My mother had quite a few boyfriends. You know, it wasn't a lifestyle for kids. We weren't safe. My mother, I think she had the penchant to drink a lot. My mother wasn't afraid of men. She would strike men and punch men, and she would fight men. In my household, every person for themselves. You kind of get it, right? I can't even imagine my kids living my life. It's so far-fetched.
The fiercest man on the planet grew up as a scared little kid, chubby kid, always bullied and kind of protected by his older sister, Denise.
Well, my sister was the boss of the house. She fought for me and she beat me up too. So whether she was like a mother figure, a domineering mother figure. She wasn't one of those kind of sisters to say, what do you want? How you gonna change your life, you know? It's about kicking your butt and stuff. That's how you gonna learn. We're pretty broke, you know? I don't even, oh God, just being on welfare, sometimes not being on welfare where you have to fend for yourself.
He fell in with an older group of proto-gangsters. Just being with them gave Mike some kind of respect that he hadn't gotten before. And that's where Mike began a life of petty crime.
Whatever we had to do to make $1, to get something to eat, beg for something, steal something, you know, the way it was, unfortunately.
But that's how life was gonna be. We were gonna rob people for the rest of our lives. We were gonna break into apartments for the rest of our lives. We were gonna break into stores for the rest of our lives. I was a hellion. Snatching chains, robbing people's houses, getting beat up over stealing something from somebody. So I wasn't a church boy. Well, my mother knew I was stealing. She knew what I was doing. She knew Santa Claus didn't come to the neighborhood.
She used to bust his ass.
My mother always told me I was gonna go to jail and I was gonna turn out to be a bum.
He just bounced off. He'd run away. He'd stay away for days, weeks. Stay away, like you're 12 years old. Let's face it, how often is a young kid like that gonna be able to run away and eventually not something bad happen to him?
She would go down to the police station with him and kick the stuff out of him in the police station.
He was a tough kid. I mean, he was tough to deal with. His mom couldn't deal with him. No one could deal with him. He did what he wanted to do when he wanted to do it. Also, she was doing what she wanted to do and how she wanted to do it, you know, so alcohol and stuff always played a major part in things and the way people's lives went with that.
Mike wound up at Spofford, which was a juvenile detention center in the Bronx. As Mike describes it, it was like almost walking into Cheers, because it was like, yo, Mike, yo. All the kids from Brooklyn were there.
It was like a family reunion. I wasn't worried about nobody doing anything bad to me, nobody beating me up. I had too many friends there from my neighborhood. They knew my mother, and it's just too many of us there. On a warehouse for holding kids. It's stacked them all up, racked them, sacked them, stacked them all up. It's where no one cares about you.
Go to Spofford for a week, we learn our lesson, so somewhat, whatever, and then we go home and get our ass beat at home again.
I was thinking about getting back out in the streets and do my thing.
Mike was severely traumatized as a kid. In fact, there was one psychiatrist who said this guy may have been the most traumatized guy he'd ever met.
I don't know, my childhood. I don't know, it was pretty dark. Time.
To be Mike Tyson, you know, the outstanding, people say fearless, but they don't know how I feel inside, but they say the fearless-hearted lion of this and that, you know, wow, man, to be talked like a legend, you know, like, man, this guy is unbelievable.
For his 21st straight win in his semifinals, Mike
I can't explain the pigeons. The pigeons is just who I am. It's my life. A Brooklyn kid that flies pigeons on the roof.
Pigeons was our way of life. You know, pigeons took us away from the streets, all the negativity, the deaths, the drugs, the alcohol, the prostitution, everything that was in the street.
Someone said, man, you do that because that keeps you in touch with your childhood. I said, no, I don't think so. I think, you know, you get it in your blood and it's over. I was 9 years old, I got my first fight. Some big bully named Gary had stole one of my pigeons, and he had broke my pigeon's neck. That's how my whole life been. People with me, picking on me.
Mike was never really a fighter. I don't think Mike had the self-confidence at the time. But there were other people who witnessed this scene, and they were going, hit him, Mike, hit him. Mike really wasn't schooled in fighting it then, but he hit him with a right hand.
I started shuffling like Ali because the guy fell down, and I was a clown, but, you know, I won. So that's all that mattered, I guess.
And that was the beginning of Mike Tyson, the future heavyweight champ of the world.
Back in the day, a lot of people exploited him, yes. Yeah, they would give him a couple of dollars just to fight this one and that one. People come to the neighborhoods and fight him and stuff like that.
I got in trouble, a couple of fights, and so they threw me in a closed facility.
I worked at Tryon School for Boys, the Elmwood program, which was a group confinement program. You didn't come to us unless you goofed up, did something a little bit more serious.
Tryon was jail. It's a place where only a strong survive, just like any jail or prison or any type of school like that. You know, that's what it was.
I first met Mike when he was 13 years old. He was brought to us by two of the biggest staff on campus, saying that, you know, be careful of him, he's rough and all this. I went to his room and I smashed the door open to intimidate him. And he jumped up and he said, Mr. Stewart, yes, I want to be a fighter. I said, so the rest of these kids, but they don't have the nerve to do it, and I don't think you do either. He said, I do.
So he started teaching me how to box.
I made a real fool of him the first time. I made him miss and fall down. But then right after it's over, what did I do? He come right to me. What did I do wrong? Can you help me? I'm all excited now because I got somebody to work with other than just be a guard. I can, you know, somebody who wants to better himself.
Bobby Stewart said to Mike, I know this guy named Cus D'Amato. He had propelled both Floyd Patterson and then later Jose Torres to the heavyweight championship of the world against all odds. Let's try to get you to go see Cus and take you to the next level.
Mike Tyson came to me as a result of an interest taken in him
by a fellow named Bobby Stewart, who was a former professional fighter whom I had helped. And now he wanted to find out whether or not Mike had any talent or anything that could be developed in making him a better fighter, making him a fighter.
I always wanted to box, and I had, this friend I met, Bob Stewart, and he knew Cus and them, and that's how, he talked to Cus and them into get me up here, because he knew I really liked the boxing a lot. And after that, we got together, me, Cus, and that's how I got here.
Mike, talk about how old you were then.
I was, approximately 13 years old at the time when I first met Cus.
His build was incredible. I've never seen anything like that in a 13-year-old. I mean, he had arms on him that could easily have been a 20, 25-year-old. He was very, very powerfully built.
We had nobody big enough for him to box. I said, no, I'll box with him.
And Bobby sparred with Mike for 2 rounds, and he had to do everything he could to keep Mike off of him.
So we boxed 2 rounds. That's when I hit him in the nose. It wasn't that hard, but you got a bloody nose.
So Cus wanted only to go 2 rounds, and Mike argued with him. He says, no, we always got to go 3. We got to go 3 rounds.
Almost like he's begging. We have to go to the 3rd round because Mr. Stewart won't let me quit.
And it's something that Cus, of course, really enjoyed seeing because, Mike's desire to continue.
Cus was taking my gloves off before I got out of the ring. And I said, what do you think of him? Hoping he'll say maybe he can come back down for another sparring session and stuff. And he said, what do I think? He said, barring outside distractions, that will be the youngest heavyweight champion of all time.
We believed him, because Cus wasn't one to freely give compliments.
Cus said, where is he from? I said, well, he'll go back to his mother's house in Brooklyn. And Cus said right then, he has a place to stay if he wants to come here.
It was live with this gentleman, Cus D'Amato, or rather go home and die. So which one would you think? Is either try to become a boxer and be a good person, or go home and die?
And then he was released to Cus, with Mike's mother signing the papers and all that stuff. I remember the first time I brought him down to the house, and he says, what am I going to do here, take the garbage out? I said, probably. I said, if they ask it, there's chores. Everybody's got something they got to do and stuff like that. And he said, wow.
Mike came from a tough neighborhood. He had a tough beginning. But Mike was also smart enough to know, number one, he wanted to be the heavyweight champion of the world. And number 2, this is where I needed to be.
By the time Mike met him, Cus was this kind of old, really beaten down guy who was basically training neighborhood kids.
Move again, quickly.
Cus was waiting for years and years and years to find somebody like Mike.
Well, Mike, if you listen to me and you keep your nose clean, you're gonna be able to buy this house like buying that candy bar. You'll be a successful, rich fighter, and nobody in the world can beat you. You're the best fighter God ever created. He knew who I was before I knew who I was. He had made all these claims, I'm the greatest fighter in the world and all this really bizarre stuff. I never questioned him.
One of the things what Cus told him was that, Mike was gonna be part of the great warriors of antiquity. And so, part of the things that Cus had Mike do was read books on past history. So he would read about all these incredible warriors of old. And that's the way Mike began to see himself, because at some point Cus told him, no, it's not about the money. Now it's about immortality. And when Cus told him it was about immortality, then Mike took it to a whole nother level.
Immortality. I bought it big time. Remember the first time you met me at Matt Baranski's gym?
Yep. Yeah, you came down with Bobby Stewart. When he brought you down, nobody could believe how old you were. That's why we were teasing Bobby, and he wanted to see his birth certificate. And we forget how young Bobby was when he first sparred with you.
28.
Yeah, he was only, what, 5 years from when he won the National Golden Gloves title, so he was still in pretty good shape. But for you to give him that much of a hard time and never having any fights, that just doesn't happen. And then, you know, as the story goes, you know, when Cus saw you, of course, first time you sparred, you know, he said, this is a future heavyweight champion of the world.
He said the youngest champ.
Mm-hmm, yep.
If I'm not lying about my age, because he didn't believe in my age.
We still don't believe how old you were.
You're not lying about your age, you're gonna be the youngest heavyweight champ of all time.
When somebody says something like that, right, I mean, this had to go through your mind, you know, youngest heavyweight champ. Now the pressure starts, because now they're looking for you to perform. I mean, that, for a young kid, that's a lot of pressure.
Keep the head down when you come up with the H to make it perfect. It's good, it's not perfect.
That's the easy part in boxing, is training physically. Mentally, that's the hard part. People have you doing it over and over and over and over and over.
That's it, there you go. Now you got, again.
In order to deal with success, you have to live the formula that leads to success. The determination, the will, the constant, persistent effort. So whether it takes a year or 50 years, he will accomplish that objective if that's what he sets out to do.
Mike started out by doing these fights called smokers, and they called them smokers because they were in smoke-filled rooms. People would bet on them.
I lied about my age most of the time. I was never old enough to actually fight in the smokers when we first started.
I had my first fight in New York, won that one.
Cus used to say, you could be 30-0, 40-0, but if you're boring, you don't win in an exciting fashion, you're not gonna draw flies. You're not gonna put asses in seats, as they say.
If I got a knockout and he didn't pretty much think that was the right way to knock a guy out, I would hear it. You didn't do it properly.
The things I ask you to do and the things I expect you to do are those things will help make you a top fighter.
There was enormous pressure on Mike from the very beginning.
Qualified him to go international, where he scored all knockouts.
After that, I returned to nationals,
which he won also all fights by knockout.
You don't get an A+ because you knocked somebody out. You get an A+ because you did it right. Of course, I always went back to Brownsville.
Where there's very humble beginnings, it's very important to the neighborhood that you keep it real. You're not bigger than where you're from.
Hey, how you doing, my man? All right. You gonna be the next champ or what? That's what I'm in the business for, of course. Right.
They saw me fighting in the Nationals and win the Nationals on television. They said, this is the real deal. They said, Mike, don't come down here no more. There's nothing down here. Stay with them white folks.
Mike is smart enough to know he needed to be in Catskill.
Put that in front of Cus right there.
I never lived in a traditional family where we eat at the table every night.
Yeah, let's sit down and eat.
We gotta wait for Camille to come before we...
Yeah, don't eat until Camille comes.
Camille was related to Cus as like a sister-in-law.
She was more like the mother figure of the whole household. Everybody respected her. Everybody did their chores. Everybody was tight with her.
It is good. She always makes it good. She makes a very good meatloaf. I don't generally eat meatloaf.
Being in Catskill was the best experience of my life because I learned how to be a man, I learned how to be independent, and I learned how to go on a journey for something and make goals happen.
Mike gets a call from his sister. Come down, Mike. Mommy's very sick. He went to see his mother in the hospital. She was dying of cancer.
It's really nasty. She was, lost a lot of weight. You could see her bones and the flesh off her bones. She really looked at like death.
And he freaked out. And he couldn't go back to the hospital.
I was 16 years old. I was just a little boy.
His mother's dying really affected him in that he started acting out again and doing criminal things. And everybody was telling him, Mike, go back. What are you, crazy?
People, stopping him like, yo, chill, bro. You ain't gotta do that shit. Yo, you just do what you gotta do, man. Stay out of trouble, man. Leave that shit alone. It ain't about nothing.
And told me to stay with Cus because that was the good ticket. They said, stay with that white man. Trust me. good things are gonna happen to you.
After Mike's mother died, Cus wound up adopting Mike.
They're better off being in this house than anybody else.
In some respects, it was a way to kind of keep Mike in check.
I don't even know what it was that caused him to adopt me. Maybe he thought somebody would steal me from him.
Cus would say things to Mike like, "Oh, you're just a phony. You're gonna leave me like all the rest of those people did." And that would, cut Mike to the core because, Mike would never leave Cus.
Why did he have that kind of influence over me? I was a wild man. How come this guy all of a sudden got influence over me, controlling me to do things? Nobody did. You feel me?
If he weren't here, I probably wouldn't be alive today. The fact that he is here and doing what he's doing and doing as well as he's doing and improving as he has gives me the motivation and interest to stay alive. Because I believe that a person dies when they no longer wants to live. But I have a reason with Mike here, and he gives me the motivation. I will stay alive, and I will watch him become a success. Because I will not leave until that happens.
I'm gonna beat everybody, plain and simple. I beat everybody.
With Mike, people were going to see somebody get their ass kicked.
And everyone who fought Mike Tyson, they weren't worried about if they were going to win or lose. They were worried about if they're going to come out of there alive.
Fear is like fire. Let it get out of control, it will destroy you and everything around you. You manage to control it, you can make it work for you.
Mike beat him before a first punch was thrown. He mentally defeated you before he physically beat you up.
Cus sold me confidence, self-esteem, a bit of an ego.
The guy comes to me with a spark. I fan the spark until it becomes a flame. I feed the flame until it becomes a fire. Then I feed the fire until it becomes a roaring blaze. That's what I have to do.
It was just meant to be, the two of us together. My whole objective was to be heavyweight champ of the world, man. In the beginning, he went to all the fights. He was at least 10 of my fights before he got sick.
Cus told him he was dying, and Mike just fell apart. And Mike said, "I'm not gonna do this anymore. Without you there, I can't do it." And Cus said, "I'm gonna come back and haunt you for the rest of your life if you don't box."
Cus would always say, people die when they want to die. He supposedly died of pneumonia, but he was losing control of Mike. He told me that. Physically a little bit sick and starting to lose control of the surroundings and stuff. And he just gave up.
Mike felt he lost everything. He lost a mentor, a father, a guardian.
Without a Cus D'Amato, there wouldn't have been a Mike Tyson.
Cus was just a different kind of person. I can't even explain the relationship.
I don't succeed when I make a guy or help a guy become champion of the world. I succeed when I make that fella become champion of the world and independent of me. Because when he's independent of me, I have succeeded. He has succeeded when he becomes champion. I have succeeded when I made him independent of me. He doesn't need me anymore.
It's tough, it's hard to explain because after winning and everything, there's no one to talk to at the house. There's Camille and everyone, there's my family here. But still, when I'm lonely and bored like I am now, I used to only be bored part of the time. Then I talk to him and he keep me in suspense. Now I'm bored all the time. I have nothing to do.
I feel difficult to even talk about. He just stayed around.
This is the main event of the night for the WBC Championship of the World. Fighting out of Catskill, New York, with 27 wins, no defeats, 25 KOs, he is the challenger, Mike Tyson. via TKO, and youngest and new WBC heavyweight champion of the world, Michael Tyson.
Once Mike beat Burbick and got that first belt, it was almost like a little bit of that air came out of him.
I never really had a father figure, but I understand what it's like to make your father proud.
The boy can do everything the champion is required to do, and if he does everything that he's capable of doing, I tell you, he may go down as one of the greatest fighters of all time, if there are no distractions.
When Mike won all 3 crowns, who's the golden knight that comes into the picture? Of course, it's Don King. Don King made a garish celebration.
King of the corners of the 4 square ring, you have won the ultimate championship of the world.
Mike, part of him was like, oh my God, this is so ridiculous.
I don't have to talk, do I? Because I don't know what to say.
But part of him was like, yeah, I'm the man.
Long live the king! Long live the king!
The kid comes from nothing to being the biggest, and everybody wants a piece of something.
Everything becomes available to you. The women, the substances, it's just everywhere. And it's the hardest thing to do is to navigate it because distraction, is the devil's workshop.
I didn't care back then. I already had money. I was doing I had everything I wanted. I didn't care back then.
He didn't grow up with money, so when he had the money to do what he wanted to do, then he could do what he wanted to do. And the more you tried to stop him, the more determined he was to do it. So why try to stop him?
He couldn't just buy 1 car. He'd have to buy 15, for his crew, because he was buying their love, literally.
He was there alone without Cus to help navigate those treacherous waters.
And I can only imagine being 20 years old and being the youngest heavyweight champion and having literally every woman throw themselves at you.
I saw on television in England one day, and I was asking the girl who I was with, who was that? And she didn't know. And so as soon as I got back to America, I told somebody, hey, get that girl on the phone from that show, head of the class.
It was hell with Robin Givens, Robin and her mother, so it was like a tag team thing with them.
When I first started dating Robin, I thought I was really madly in love with her. That sound good?
He was different around her than he was around anybody else I seen him with.
He started really looking like a rich asshole. Like he wasn't really the same with the fellas and nothing like that either.
She told me she was pregnant.
She claimed she was pregnant. She wasn't. Mike was gonna do the right thing.
And we got married.
And of course, without showing any evidence of being pregnant, 6 months later she had a miscarriage. But by then they had their hooks in him.
I don't know who was worst, her or her mother. They didn't care about him as a person. They didn't care about him as a boxer. They cared about him as an ATM machine. I had Ali talk to him on the phone. Ali told him, he doesn't need a Hollywood girl. He needs a nice young girl, humble. But she was the wrong person for him. It was like her throwing gasoline on a fire with him.
Late today, world heavyweight boxing champion Mike Tyson checked himself out of a New York hospital where he was admitted after an automobile accident.
Mike Tyson is the last man in the world you'd think would try to kill himself. Millions envy him. At 22, the heavyweight boxing champion of the world, earning over $20 million a fight, living with his beautiful young bride, actress Robin Givens, in a $4.5 million mansion.
Yeah, it was pretty interesting. I would try to kill myself. Trying to kill myself with bull. But I did want some sympathy from that, though. Getting sympathy from that was pretty cool.
In the last several months, there's been one incident after another. In May, there was a car accident, Tyson losing control of his Bentley after his wife Robin had slapped him in an argument. In August, a street fight, Tyson meeting and punching a one-time ring opponent, Mitch Blood Green.
But none of that reveals just how serious Mike Tyson's out-of-the-ring problems may be.
Michael is a manic depressive. He is. I mean, that's just a fact. It's been pure hell I mean, there are times when Michael is manic and he's incredibly abusive. He shakes, he pushes, he swings. I've become afraid. I mean, very, very much afraid.
What's going on in my head in 2020 when I'm doing that interview and Robin's talking about me like I'm a terror, I feel like kicking her in the head. But of course I wouldn't dare.
Mike Tyson's problem does not rise to the level of manic depressive illness.
If Mike Tyson isn't manic depressive, then why would his wife say he is?
Today, the heavyweight boxing champ and Robin Givens were officially divorced. Givens will get cars, jewelry, and an undisclosed amount of cash.
I got sideswiped. And I guess she thought that was going to be good for her and bad for me at the time. I was in Japan, and I wasn't in the best shape possibly.
He didn't put in as much work as he should have.
As his stardom grew, more distractions. You know, it's the women, the business deals, the endorsements, distractions, distractions, distractions.
There would be mornings we'd be out running. Buster blew by us like a locomotive. Buster's mom had just passed, and he dedicated that fight to his mom, so there may have been some type of divine intervention in his mind.
Shake hands and good luck, both.
Mike didn't have that menacing look that we've seen in so many of his fights before.
I still thought I could beat Douglas, and I guess I was wrong.
Look at this, Buster landing some shots. This is surprising here. For some reason, Mike doesn't look as aggressive and menacing as I've seen him in so many other fights.
Officially divorced.
They are on Is Mike having an off night? You don't know. Oh, that's a nice uppercut that time. That drops Buster Douglas. And here it is at 9. Is he going to get up? Yes, he does. Mike wants to finish this thing in the worst way. Look at this. Look at Buster coming back. Who would ever have expected this? Oh, nice uppercut by Buster Douglas. Look at this. He's knocked Mike Tyson down for the first time in his career. Mike Tyson hits the canvas. He's in big trouble. He may not be able to recover. It's up to 7 and 8. He's not gonna make it. Unbelievable! Unbelievable! Unbelievable!
It's the biggest upset in boxing history.
I was in tears when Michael hit the canvas and attempt to get back up and not be able to get back up and have the referee embrace him and say, okay, enough, Mr. Tyson, enough, Mr. Tyson, that's it, no more, no more. That's not Michael. That's not Michael. That's not Michael.
I was right there. So yeah, it was a shock. When he went down and he got up and he was crawling around and put his mouthpiece in the mouth trying to stand up, and he was literally out of the fight at that point and the referee stopped it, it was devastating because you didn't expect it.
Mike Tyson at that time was not the Mike Tyson of a few years before. It just wasn't, and everybody knows it.
How do you tell the baddest man on the planet, are you okay, bro? How do you do that?
I knew I wasn't doing the right thing. And I always knew that I could get back on track. And I always knew I wasn't finished.
When we got back to the Catskills, I mean, you know, he had a big swollen eye, and he would be downstairs doing push-ups and stuff that he may have should have been doing before the fight. He'd go up into the attic and look at pictures and look at old fights and read books. And he loved Cus. Cus was one of the few people that he really listened to and respected because he was honest and would slap the shit out of you.
He had Cus on his shoulder telling him, Michael, get yourself up, handle your business, take it back to the beginning. Do not forget who you are.
I knew I was gonna be champ again once I got a chance, but I had got arrested, and then it had to take me at least 4 years to get a championship shot. Do you remember that?
Mike and Denise were like big sister, little brother.
She defended me, she fought for me. She wanted what I wanted for me, I guess.
So when she died, he felt bad, of course. It hurt him.
That was really bad because me and her were really close. She was like a mother figure in my life. And it's just, I don't know, what do? You just handle these things.
He mourned in his own way.
Regardless of what happened to you, your mother, your father, your sister, the job has to be done. That's the real world.
Team Tyson will prevail because it stands for what's just and right, and Tyson will knock out Evander Holyfield.
I'm just basically happy this moment's here. I'm prepared. I know the champion's prepared. This is dedicated to a great number of people who I missed, who's not with us no more. And I just like to thank the people who supported me after Tokyo to this moment right here. And I won't let you down.
There's a pretty big storm brewing on Mike Tyson's horizon.
Tyson was on his way to another shot at the title and the largest purse in boxing history.
That fight has now been scrapped.
Hi, I'm Mike Tyson. Be sure to watch the Miss Black America pageant on this channel.
He is charged with raping a woman who was a contestant in this summer's Miss Black America pageant.
Oh, I'm in a dream day after day.
The victim was led to believe that her meeting with Tyson was to be platonic.
Beautiful women, such an array.
When she refused his advances, Tyson had forced non-consensual sex with the victim.
His accuser, Desiree Washington, an 18-year-old contestant in a beauty pageant.
Tyson could get more than 60 years in prison.
He came up to me and hugged me and said, "Would you like to go out on a date with me?" And I just said, sure. I was so surprised.
I'm in the Black Expo. He took me in the room where the ladies were, and everybody went crazy when they saw me.
They were literally clawing each other to get to him. And Desiree Washington was one of these girls.
At that point, I'm thinking, well, we could go to these after parties. We can go around Indianapolis and everything.
I'm not saying Mike was an angel at all, but I am saying he did not take advantage of that girl. There's no way in hell.
The next thing I knew, I was at the Canterbury Hotel.
So he winds up one night calling her at 1 a.m.
And we made propositions where she would come to my room.
I don't know what she thought they were gonna do in the room, go sightseeing. I mean, they're on the bed, they start making out.
She went into the bathroom to take out her tampon.
And then comes back in bed.
We had sex. She wanted me to walk her downstairs. I didn't want to walk her downstairs. And that was it.
He called me, he's like, yo, man, I messed up. I'm like, what are you talking about? He's like, yo, man, I made this girl pissed off at me. And I'm like, well, did you walk her downstairs? He's like, nah, man, I was tired. I went downstairs. Okay. And
then a week later, I had rape charges.
This was the day the prosecution went to work on Mike Tyson.
I'm not guilty of this crime, he said. I didn't rape anyone. Tyson said he'd like to apologize to his victim, Desiree Washington, but she's not here.
I didn't know about law. I'd never been in a case like that before to that degree. I didn't know this. I thought he was doing the right thing.
The defense claimed she was a gold digger after Tyson's money. The prosecution argued she was simply an 18-year-old girl who became a victim of her inexperience with men.
He had the most inefficient, ridiculous defense put on by a lawyer who Don King hired, who had never done a case like this.
He's a tax lawyer. He didn't know nothing about criminal cases.
The whole defense was, Mike is a well-known Neanderthal. He's an animal. He's a brute. He's a savage. What did you expect when you went up into his room at 1 in the morning? That was his brilliant defense.
Of course I feel I was taken advantage of, but I know I didn't rape no Desiree Washington.
Did he rape her? I don't think so. Because he said he didn't do it, and he said it with conviction.
Did I believe for a moment that Michael would rape anyone? Absolutely not. I truly believe it was a setup.
It was bullshit, and I got convicted. And I'm the mother that went to prison over bullshit lies.
Tyson began serving a 6-year prison term Thursday, immediately following his sentencing.
After prison, he'll have to serve 4 years probation and undergo psychotherapy.
I don't believe that happened the way it went down. Because if it would have happened that way, his ass would still be in jail to this day. So he only did like 3 years on that. If he did it, why was he in jail for longer?
I know I went to jail for something I didn't do. It was just apparent to see that they just railroaded me. I didn't stand a chance. They just wanted to have a big name on their record, that's all. We got Mike Tyson, he's in our jail.
If I was in here for something that I did, it would be easier. But just the fact that I'm in here for something I didn't do, and I'm innocent, every day I'm walking a thin line through hell.
I had nothing to do with it. There was no reason I was supposed to be there. I was mad, I was bitter, and that's who I was when I first went to prison.
Nothing's good about prison. Only thing you learn to do is become better at what you did when you came in here. If you were a crook when you came, you learn to become a better crook, because there's no chivalry here.
Ooh, it was just, we were inside. You know, you don't see no sunlight unless you look up. And I did my time like everyone else.
That first week he came into the dorm, I held a meeting like we normally do, and then I just, introduced Mike and just told everyone, hey, he's here just to do his time like everyone else. You guys don't bother him and give him a hard time or whatever. He wants to just be treated, just like anybody else.
Nobody wanted to with me. I was just, I was a serious guy, but I was a good guy. I didn't want no trouble, but I was serious. I was in isolation a lot. First, because I got in an altercation with some of the officers, and then I just started going on my own. I said, I would ask my officer, can you just take me to the hole, because I'm not feeling well. I could have done my whole 3 years there, isolation. Some people think, no way you could do that, but in isolation, you're so peaceful. I never received the peace in public that I did when I was in isolation. People in there 15, 20 years, they say, you'll be out of here any minute. So you gotta stay in shape, man, before you get out. So people inspired me to get in shape, and so I got really in good shape before I left.
He always would talk about, yeah, brother, when we get out, man, we gonna be having fun. We gonna be dressing nice. We gonna be riding in limos. All the girls gonna be on us, man. We gonna have so much money and jewelry. And I'll say, okay, brother, that sounds fine, but just grab the other end of those sheets so we can get these bunks made up before they write us up, okay?
Now to the media circus surrounding the release from prison of former heavyweight champion Mike Tyson.
Cameras were ready, hundreds of them from around the world.
It was kind of embarrassing, really. You're leaving prison and the whole world is watching you. And it's like, ugh.
In the last 3 years, I had the chance to reflect on my life and develop my mind, and I will continue my journey to making myself a better person.
Most people believe Tyson will go to the ring. It's the only job he's ever known, and the only place he's proven to be successful.
But Mike Tyson is not a totally free man. He'll be on probation for 4 years. One mistake, and he could be back in a prison.
I thought prison was for the rehabilitation of men. People come out of prison, they come out in worse condition than they was when they first entered.
When it comes to the ring, and when I'm in the ring, it stops. All the nervousness and tension is stopped. Because I'm facing reality, and I'm not, in the locker room thinking about, oh man, this guy's a killer, else suppose this happened or this happened, else I'm gonna do this. Well, as soon as I get in the ring, it's a whole different story. I'm the killer then.
So I'm in prison, I'm talking to one of my friends. And he told me that another friend of mine owed him money and he never paid him. And he said if he doesn't pay me, I'm gonna sell his cars for horses, for animals. They got leopards, they got tigers. I said, man, you think you can get me one? He said, yeah, man, that'd be so cool if you had a tiger driving in your car when you have one of your Ferraris and you have a tiger sitting with you. That'd be so cool. I said, well, try to get me one. Next thing I knew, I had 3 of them when I came out of prison.
He had one cat that he left on the basketball court, and Mike would get in the cage with this tiger. What the tiger would do is pace the length of the basketball court, and he'd check him out, size him up, and then he would stop and just stare at him for a minute. And the minute Mike would move, then he would raise back up, and then he would slowly start to pace again. I started noticing Mike do the same thing.
I was confident that I was gonna be champion again.
Well, you can't begin to understand Holyfield 2 without looking at Holyfield 1. King had basically set up a line of ducks for him to regain his title with, non-entities like Bruce Seldon, Frank Bruno, who was petrified of Mike, lost the fight before he even got in the ring. Mike really should not have fought Holyfield at that point in his comeback, but Don King didn't care because he didn't care about Mike.
Professional fighter has got to learn how to hit and not get hit, at the same time be exciting. That's what professional boxing is about. You got to be clever, you got to be smart, and not get hit. And when you're able to do this, you're a fighter.
Cus never would have let him fight Holyfield at that point. He would have had him, get some more bouts under his belt. But in that fight, Mike told me, I think it was like in the second round or something, he got headbutted by Holyfield and was blacked out for the next 8 rounds. Basically fought on instinct. In fact, when the fight was called, he turned to his corner, he thought he'd won. That's how out of it he was.
He just fought a better fight, that's all it is. There's no big story about it and nothing.
I met Mike when I just turned 19. Mike had a press conference, and my parents took me to the press conference. Don King knew my father and knew that he had a lot of connections in Philadelphia.
First time I ever saw, I said, yo, who's that? And then I remember the people that work for me said, yo, just don't mess with her, leave her alone, she's not for you.
He was very shy. He hardly gave me any eye contact, and I was kind of shy too, and I didn't really give him any eye contact. It was really awkward, but it was thrilling at the same time. And then I was like wondering if I'd ever see him again.
Then one day they came to my house, her and her parents.
I don't want my parents to know I'm like excited to see him because I'm 19 now and he's 29.
We stayed with Mike, and him and Kiki were like just 2 kids, just everywhere Kiki went, Mike went.
It was just something really sweet and endearing about him, and it was just, I felt comfortable with him.
And of course, I kissed her, and after that, she teased me. She's a big tease.
We kissed that night, and that was it.
He said, they seem like they like each other. I said, well, yeah, he's like a big brother. And he said, I don't think it's that kind of like.
It just organically evolved into something.
Hey. I don't know about all this stuff. Where do you getting this stuff for me falling in love?
I was like in love with him. It was crazy.
And then all of a sudden he said, well, you know what? I think maybe we should revisit the idea of Kiki going to Italy.
I went off to Italy, and Mike always teases. He was like, yeah, your parents sent you away to Italy to get away from me.
It may appear that maybe she was being sent away, but nah, that was never the case.
She went to Europe. They didn't see each other for a couple of years.
I'm living in Florence, Italy. And I heard that he got married, and I felt crushed. I mean, it wasn't like we had like a serious relationship. We weren't even intimate at that time. But, my dreams of being with this person were shattered because I still had like hope in my head that, one day we'd be together.
At this time, I wasn't in a relationship with Monica. We had a relationship before we went to prison, but it wasn't like she was my girlfriend, I was her boyfriend. We just were friends, we had a relationship. And then when I went to prison, we became more acquainted, more of a couple than we did when we were outside in the world.
Monica visited him in jail often. Monica stood by his side.
She was very supportive, and plus I liked her. You know, once you have a baby, you can't leave them out cold. So we had 2 babies, so we decided to get married.
I was with him when he married Monica. At that particular time, Amir, which is Mike's oldest son, was a baby, Raina and Amir. And of course, his adopted daughter that Monica had, Gina.
Domestic bliss was not in his DNA. So he had a house for her, and he had children with her, but he also had a whole other life.
I wanted to make this work, but I knew deep in my heart, Mike, you're a pig. This not gonna work out well, and I don't know. I wish I didn't hurt her feelings.
Boxing got a black eye in Las Vegas last night.
It wasn't so much a heavyweight championship fight as it was a championship bite.
Mike Tyson was disqualified for biting Evander Holyfield's ears.
He bit the shit out of him. It's okay, it's factual. I mean, a street fight is a street fight.
Holyfield kept headbutting him, and Mike just snapped. People don't realize that's normal in the streets.
I was a spoiled kid, and things didn't go my way. I was pissed off about her, so I guess I bit his ear because he was headbutting me.
When he couldn't get to Holyfield, he took some swings at a police officer trying to control the crowd.
Saturday night was the worst night of my professional career as a boxer.
Tyson is temporarily suspended from boxing.
To the people that expect more from Mike Tyson, to forgive me for snapping in the ring.
Tyson's nervous plea for forgiveness comes after repeated calls to ban him from the ring.
What do you expect to do? Suppose you were in my situation. I'm tired of people taking advantage of me and trying to bully me around or trying to antagonize me. I don't have nobody that defends me. I have only myself. I have nobody but me and my family. Who do you have?
Nevada authorities have handed him a stiff penalty.
Tyson's penalty is the stiffest in the history of sport. The commission fined Tyson $3 million and jerked his license to box.
A ton of shit came down, but it wasn't nothing I couldn't handle. I took care of it.
There's nothing wrong with me. I'm not going to bite anybody's ears. You see that I'm devastated from the fact that this happened, and I'm at your guys' mercy. Please don't torture me any longer, sir.
Yeah, I thought it might not happen, but my ego told me I'm the best fighter in the world. How could they not give me a license? But deep down inside, I'm saying, wait, I might not get that.
There are only a few punishments greater than being denied the right to earn a living. A large portion of a man's dignity and self-respect comes from the work he does. Mike knows boxing is what he is good at. I believe this commission knows that as well. Let this young man earn a living. Give him a chance to redeem himself in the ring. I, Muhammad Ali, ask that you give Mike the right to fight again.
We have 4 votes, yes, and 1 no. Motion carries.
I was happy I was able to fight. That was a good feeling. That was my life. That was my life. Fighting was my life.
After the fight, sometimes I'm sore, my jaw hurts, my head hurts. In this kind of sport, that's what you have to take. That's why it's called discipline.
Mike Tyson's long-awaited fight with Lennox Lewis may be on the ropes after a brawl at a news conference on Tuesday.
Mike is classic bipolar.
He'll go from 0 to 100 real quick.
It happened as he and Lewis were about to promote their upcoming heavyweight championship fight.
When Mike rushed up to Lennox, he wasn't going to do anything. And one of Lennox's security guys took a swing at Mike. And then Mike swung at the guy, and then Lennox hit Mike. Then I tried to hit Lennox, and it just got crazy from right there.
And apparently the language that was spoken at that event was just not to be believed.
Yeah, I was getting carried away.
Come here and tell me that if I you and your punk white boy, you can't touch me, you're not man enough. I eat your alive.
$20 million on the table, and he comes across and purposely tries to start a fight.
I had to be that crazy in-your-face guy back then. Because I wasn't, people would pick me apart. That's my insecurity talking, probably. But that's how it thinks.
Mike would go to strip clubs, and he met Shelly. Shelly was an exotic dancer. Shelly had Miguel Tyson and Exodus Sierra Tyson. Mike is in Hawaii, mind you, training for Lennox Lewis when Miguel was born. You know, that have to be a distraction. I just think that might have had something to do with the outcome of that fight.
Maybe I lost fair and square. You know, I'm tired of people making excuses for me. Sometimes maybe it's possible I can lose, and I can lose square and fair. And that's just what it was.
Miguel's 2 months old, and when he looked at Mike after the fight, with that eye, he was swole up, the look on Miguel's face was like, Dad, what happened?
Besides losing the fight, it was pretty awesome, hanging out with the kid. Me and his mother had a disagreement. I guess she needed some time off. And she became a great mother eventually. I think maybe she was overwhelmed at first. I was at my house and somebody had said, Kiki was looking for you. I said, well, bring her over to the house.
Right after he lost to Lennox Lewis, I was the one nursing him back to health.
She put a bunch of ice and stuff on my face because my face was all icy and swollen up and stuff.
That was the best time of my life, just that 30 days when it was just us. And we were so in love. It was just, I never felt that intensity of love in my life. This is after he was feeling better. He did tell me, he was look, I'm kind of I really like you and I'm whatever. He's but I'm kind of seeing somebody else too. He was dating lots of girls, but then it got to the point where I couldn't take it anymore. I packed up all his stuff and FedExed it on his account overnight back to his house in Vegas because he was headed to Vegas, and then I just shut down. I felt very disregarded.
I wanted to stay with her, but I didn't realize that that I could.
I never imagined myself having kids with anyone but him. But I didn't think that day would ever come.
At this point, Mike is on the total downswing of his career. I mean, he's doing drugs, he's doing cocaine, he's drinking a lot.
At that stage of my life, I didn't have no concept of balance at all. So it's always I'm all out, balls to the walls, up or down. I mean, it's always all out, always extreme.
There's nobody putting the brakes on him, and now he's got a bunch of enablers around him.
I would go see him train, and everybody would tell him how good he looked. And you look good, Mike, you got this going. And I'd just shake my head. He had trainers that Cus D'Amato wouldn't even let them shine his shoes, and they're going to tell Mike how to fight.
So, he's just a shell of the boxer that he was. Camille dying had an impact on Mike. Camille was truly the last link to Cus. And there was a genuine love between the two of them.
It was a bad thing. It wasn't good, but I made sure that I took care of her till the day she died. That's all Cus wanted me to do.
And he just accepted the fact that these great mentor teachers, people that showed him kindness and respect that he's never had before, they would be taken away from him. Michael had an inability to process those type of feelings, and it would bring up great rage and remorse and fear and insecurity, and he did not have the infrastructure to be able to deal with it and stay present, and he would disappear and run away between food, drugs, alcohol, and women.
I didn't care. That moment, I didn't care.
Former boxing champ Mike Tyson, he's calling it quits after yet another failed comeback attempt. Relative unknown Kevin McBride stopped Tyson after 6 rounds of a heavyweight bout last night in Washington, D.C.
When I fought McBride, I didn't go in that fight anticipating this would be my last fight, no.
I remember as like a 8-year-old kid, I was just like crying. And I was like, oh, I can't believe you lost. But then someone was explaining, like, you win some, you lose some. He's won a lot of them.
It's Tyson's 3rd loss in his last 4 fights.
I was losing to really low caliber fighters, and so I decided to retire.
When Michael decided to retire, there was a period of emptiness, not doing what you've done for the last 2 decades on a daily basis. It's devastating to lose your sport, your craft, and it's a difficult thing to deal with, no matter who you are, even the baddest man on the planet.
Second round, here we go.
Boxer Iron Mike Tyson was at one time worth at least $300 million. But today he filed for bankruptcy, capping years of lavish spending and financial mismanagement.
The distance from a limousine and the gut is just a step. And I went beneath the gut, I just, boom, fell out, no money.
Me and Mike was living in Arizona at his ex-girlfriend's house, and we was having Twizzlers and cereal for breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
And just days after filing for bankruptcy, boxer Mike Tyson has filed suit against his former promoter, Don King, for $100 million, claiming the King stole 1/3 of the fortune Tyson made in the ring.
Well, Don King's just Don King. That's just what it is. Keep my perspective to myself.
Push through 8.
Like this to be a family show.
He had a $100 million suit against Don King. But what happened was bankruptcy court, they just want to settle for nothing.
There was no hopes of me getting any kind of money, and that was pretty humbling as well.
He did turn to drugs, and I think it was just to relieve some of the pain.
I was in a slump. I was doing a lot of drugs. I was drinking a lot.
15 in.
What wasn't Mike's drug of choice back then?
Keep working.
Dust, cocaine, marijuana. Anything he could get his hands on.
I was just never afraid to tell Mike, you're messing up. You're gonna die. You're gonna kill yourself. And he would say, well, let me die. Let me live my life how I wanna live. Maybe I wanna die, Daryl.
I wanted to do what I wanted to do. I was just that kind of person, I was a stubborn person. And I had to learn from my mistakes.
Former heavyweight champ Mike Tyson in trouble with the law again. Tyson made an initial appearance in a Phoenix court this morning. Police charged him with DUI and possession of cocaine.
I almost hit the cop car, that's why they pulled me over. Cocaine's all on the dashboard. Seeked it, can't even get it away. I was so high.
Pulled over. He damn near killed a cop, and he had to go to jail. That's the last time he went to jail, so. After that, that was a wake-up call.
I didn't think I had a problem, to be honest with you. When the police told me I had a problem with cocaine, that's how I realized I had a problem, and they pulled me over.
How am I gonna get him to rehab? I had already made the phone calls to everybody out there. I just need to get him there. So we went on down the road, and he had a little baggie in his pocket with a little straw in it. Sophisticated, this guy, right? Still ahead of the game. He would catch a quick one. I says, Mike, are you serious? I'm like, we're going to rehab. He says, brother, but I'm gonna be high when I get there.
I am an addictions therapist, and he would seek treatment from me here in Venice from Wonderland. He came to me depressed, rageful, bloated, confused, not really wanting to be here.
I didn't even know I was addicted to anything. I just thought I was extreme to that. I'm just go all out kind of a guy.
One of the things I specialize in is, besides chemical dependency, is sex addiction. The problem with Michael and his sex addiction is he would never get sober until he started addressing it. At the end of the day, sex wasn't that important to Michael. His need to feel love was most important.
I realized as you get older, the more girls you've been with, the more it takes from you, the less person you are. You know, when you play yourself really cheap, it tears away your soul. You don't have much soul. That's what happens, you lose your soul.
My main thing was just about him realizing he's not such a bad guy. Helping him make peace with this little boy that was so badly taken advantage of by the world.
His friend Daryl, you know, they were in a car together, and Daryl was like, I don't know what Mike was saying, but he was maybe not in the best mood. And he's like, well, why don't you call Kiki?
He said, wow, Kiki. He said, wonder how she's doing, brother. I said, we should give her a call.
So he called her, she came over.
He was just on a load of medication. I started reading the side effects, and I was telling him, hey, you know, this one makes your hair fall out. You know, this one makes your stop working. You know, this one makes you gain weight. We stopped all the medications cold turkey.
Being with Kiki was, man, that was a breath of fresh air because, man, I have no idea where I would have been.
We were having such a good time, and then he gets a call, and it's from like some stripper. And he's like, hey, I'm gonna go back out for a little bit. I'm like, what? And I was just devastated. And so I packed my stuff, and then I left that morning.
Miss Kiki was not feeling the spirit of that. And so that was quickly like, no, we're not gonna do that.
I didn't want to be in no relationship. I was still high Mike. I still wanted to have fun.
And I remember going to Mike and telling him that I was pregnant. And he's like, well, what are you gonna do? You want to, you know? And I'm like, I'm gonna have a baby. Like, what am I gonna do? Have an abortion at 32? This could be my last chance.
I had other kids before, but you know, it was just like, wow, this is something. I realized that I had to come in this child's life. She needs a father in her life. And yes. And I stepped up to the plate on that.
Kiki came into our life when Milan was just born. It was like really hard for her too, because my father, he was in a really dark place in his life at that point.
He wasn't ready to be a full-on dad, but my sister Exodus, she died in 2009, and that really drastically changed him.
Now to the heartbreaking death of Mike Tyson's 4-year-old daughter, a death police are calling a tragic accident.
Police in Phoenix say the girl, named Exodus, had a cord or rope from an exercise treadmill wrapped around her neck.
I had a little 4-year-old daughter that passed away. Don't even want to talk about that day, but it wasn't a good day.
Mike Tyson was in Las Vegas and flew immediately to Phoenix to be at his daughter's bedside.
I don't think there's any pain on earth like that. I've never seen him in so much pain.
Come on. Yep. Come on. Pull 5. Yeah. Pull getting sick.
I went to the hospital, and then I saw her in the hospital, and I see she was brain dead already. I could tell that she wasn't gonna make it. Oh, it was really bad to see.
His daughter died, and he wasn't in her life to like the fullest extent like he could have been. So I think that hurt him a lot, and then he just changed up totally.
You always think that, especially for a parent, you're gonna outlive your children. And I think that incident like really killed my father inside. And it really like almost motivated him to be a better father to the kids that he still has.
And rest, I got you. Water.
When Exodus died, we just made a pact that we need to be closer.
I don't know, it was just time to change, time to do something. I don't even know if it was changing. I don't even think it was changing. It's just, everybody else thought I've changed. I just knew it was the time to just grow up. Hey, Lakia! Baby, this is going there?
Yeah, that's not going there, so we'll just leave that there for now. And then, if you don't mind, you could just move that over there for now, and then we'll get someone to clear it out.
Me, my future, perhaps single for the rest of my life. Yes, I could say that. Perhaps I'll be single for the rest of my life. I'm not the kind of guy that think I'll be into a wife and all that.
Yeah, my wife is the boss. That means we gotta get this done.
10 years from now, 20 years from now, I think it'll be the same way.
We must have been a mess. It's our third. They said, hey, come on, let's just go get married. I said, you want to get married now? I said, yeah, let's go. Did she tell you that?
Okay, so it wasn't romantic. It was, I mean, the funny thing about us is like, there's nothing that's ever like stereotypical romantic. It's just situational romantic.
We didn't really know who each other really was until we really got married.
It was really hard, like our first year, because he relapsed a lot, and that was really scary.
Mike Tyson says his battle with addiction has grown so serious that it threatens his life.
When Michael relapsed, it was different all the time. Sometimes he'd be extremely remorseful, and I did it again, and he'd be his little boy, I'm sorry. And then sometimes he'd be kicking and screaming.
I want to live a different life now. I want to live my sober life. I don't want to die. I'm on the verge of dying because I'm a vicious alcoholic. And wow. I haven't took drugs in 6 days. And for me, that's a miracle. I've been lying to everybody else to think I was sober, but I'm not. This is my 6th day. I'm never gonna use again.
Hey, listen, don't get too deep into my drug world. I was a drug addict for a while. And then all of a sudden I said, hey, this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna keep each other's side of the street clean and we're gonna raise these kids. And it's just gonna be that way. All right, we're coming right back in here, guys.
We were in the trenches and we would argue a lot because he would do something that I felt was insensitive. And he would say to me, like, what else do you want? Like, I'm giving you everything. I'm here with you. You got my heart. You know, I'm with you 100%. What else do you want? I'm like, there's so much more stuff in a relationship than just keeping your in your pants.
You know what I learned from marriage? I learned the word compromise. You have to learn that real well. Once you learn that word compromise and you go by that word, things go smooth.
I know exactly why it's worked with Kiki, because she don't put up with it.
Don't get it twisted, they fight like cats and dogs. When it's all said and done, I told you when he goes to that place where he knows he has to analyze and say, damn, you know what? I hate this, but this bitch is right. That's what he does, and that's how it works.
And then imagine that when we paint the inside of the house with the off-white gray color.
Okay.
Years ago, when Cus was building him up, Cus said, you know, Mike, you follow my discipline, and not only could you be a great boxer, but you could be the greatest at anything you do. You could be a great actor.
I got the Hangover movie, and I became an entertainer. I was in Vegas, and I went to this VIP area, and then Zach Galifianakis came up to me and he said, hey, we're gonna be in a movie with you in 2 weeks. I said, so really? Because back then I was still overweight. I was just getting out of rehab, and I was a mess. But we made a real good movie, and they even invited me for part 2.
Yeah, when he did that, we never thought it was gonna blow like that, though. I mean, come on. It was incredible.
That was awesome. That put me on the map to just continue to rise.
I don't know what to expect. I'm just sort of coming into it, and I'm looking forward to it. People around the world know Mike Tyson, even if they don't know anything about boxing. He sort of reinvented himself, so this is a great step for him here.
Me and Kiki got together. She kept talking about having this production company. And some miraculous way, we did a one-man show.
That was hard work for Kiki and Mike together because they have to work together.
That's how it worked. We took 6 weeks to memorize everything, and we had an opening night on Broadway. It was pretty nice. Me and my wife, well, she does the writing, but I don't know, that's what I'm used to doing. That's what I do my whole life, is put my life out there. But at least I don't have to go to the hospital every day.
Marker.
Hey. I wanted this show to come across as a really gritty show. But the first time we did it, I was telling these people I didn't know who my father was, and they just started laughing. And I ran back to my wife and said, baby, what's happening? Are they laughing at us? This ain't going well? Because I'm telling them something kind of sad, and I'm hoping they go like, oh, they start laughing.
I was like, they're laughing at your pain and your depression. And then it turned into a comedy.
Turned out to be a comedy. That's a joke.
He stuck to the comedy, and it's paid off for him. And hey, let's face it, he's a funny guy when he want to be.
When I'm on stage, I'm not Mike Tyson. I'm just a guy that could play Mike Tyson better than anyone else.
If I was to never make it in boxing, if I was to lose an arm or something was to happen tomorrow or tonight, I would never feel sorry or anything because I came a long way. I came further than anybody ever expected me to come.
Hey, Ryan.
How's it going?
I'm good, man. Ready to go through this?
Yeah, definitely. I like the look.
Thank you.
I got a phone call out of nowhere. Hey, Mike Tyson wants to come down to the foundation office, and he's interested in our program. We take kids from all walks of life, and we help them to overcome a lot of their challenges. And we do that with mentoring, education, tutoring, and sports.
That's cool.
Hello.
He walked into our office, and within 10 minutes of seeing what we do, he just started crying. He's like, you guys are doing for these young kids what my mentor did for me. And he said, if it wasn't for my mentor, I would be dead or in jail without a doubt.
If you don't have a good role model, there's no way you're gonna succeed.
Did you ever thought it was gonna be impossible to become the best fighter in the world?
No way, I knew it. As soon as my mentor told me, I knew it. See, I had a mentor that could talk to me and make me feel like I was a god. I said, yeah, I was only 13 years old. He said, this, you're gonna be Olympic champion, you're gonna win this, you're gonna win this, you're gonna be the youngest heavyweight champ of all time. Most of everything he said was right. It's just the belief in yourself, the confidence. Sometimes you have to have that delusional belief in yourself that you could do anything.
What's one insight or one thing that you feel has had a profound impact in your life?
I used to be a drug addict. I was a violent person. Oh, if you looked at me, it was a problem, it was a fight. Oh man, I'm really embarrassed to even tell you this. And well, I don't want to tell you. I'm glad I met my wife.
Sometimes I still feel like on edge because I'm so used to him doing great.
Well, that doesn't happen overnight. It takes practice.
Well, let's practice. Like, I get nervous that, God forbid, there's a relapse. And if that day comes, we'll deal with it. But I'm just glad. I'm so glad that we're having a good run.
When I first met Kiki, I was kind of thinking, oh my God, here's another woman. But Kiki has turned my father's life around. She cares about all of his children. She's really a guardian angel.
What would you say is your focus now?
My kids.
So that's your new championship?
Yeah. That's tough too. It's tougher than the championship.
He definitely has taken, I think, the drive that he had as an athlete and has turned it now onto the same kind of drive to be a great father. He's a great father.
Here we go to school, kids. I think I'm more present than I ever was. Say, see you later, house.
See you later, house.
You know, I'm more present as a father. Even when the ones that live far away, I'm in their lives. I'm present. I call them constantly.
What's up, Dad? Good?
I wish they all lived the same place, one place in one house. That'd be awesome.
There always will be people, like if we see them in Vegas, like friends or like other celebrities, and they'll be like, oh, come to the party, like come with me. And they're just like, no, those days are over. And like, come on, man, remember we used to do it? And he's just like, nah, I'm with my man right now.
He wasn't maybe the best father then, but I'm just appreciating on how good of a father he is to me now.
He's a good dad. He's a good human being. Like, he's a funny character. You know, he's good to be around. He's not like baddest man on the planet type guy all the time. Like, he's just like an everyday dad.
He's so happy that he took the punches that we don't have to take. And we're really blessed that we don't.
He always wanted a family life, okay? I'm not saying that he didn't have other opportunities for a family life, but this time he got it.
Years ago, nobody knew what the outcome of Mike Tyson would be. Who would have guessed that he'd be sitting at home playing with his kids and just having a great time?
I've been taking it way too serious.
He finally woke up, and God bless him.
His job, his employment, was to knock your block off.
Tyson attacks immediately.
and entertain planet Earth.
I wanted to beat him bad. I wanted to dominate him.
This guy used to just knock people out.
Down he goes. I don't think you'll get up from this.
Tyson was the last true boxing heavyweight champion.
But I'm more proud of him now, being like a normal, good guy and stuff like that, than I was when he won the heavyweight championship.
He's done well. A couple bumps in the road, but we're all human.
It's a pleasure to see him become a champion in life now.
When I wake up at 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning, I want to go out. You know, but I don't go outside. I just walk around the house, walk outside, go to the pigeon coop. I'm out there sometimes till like 3 o'clock in the morning, and my wife comes in, and she said, "Baby, what are you looking for? You still?" I'm looking at the birds. I don't see anything but the same thing. What are you looking for? And I have to explain, baby, I don't know what I'm looking for until I see it. I guess that's my therapy, subconsciously. I don't believe in what peace is, but I'm not struggling with anything. I'm pretty much happy with my life now. But I'm not no pussy, don't ever think that. Don't ever think that.